Integrate in as little as 30 minutes. Conditions apply. The time by Sagicor Bank is...
It is now 7 o'clock. Time now for the Morning Watch.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001 or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, reactions to the possible overturning of the Roe versus Wade ruling in the U.S. In the second watch, another look at lupus. For our social media question, we ask, what is your reaction to the possible overturning of the Roe versus Wade ruling in the U.S.? Please share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
All right, I quote for this morning. We build too many walls and not enough bridges. Isaac Newton. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Rasheen. How are you, my brother?
Wow, I'm doing well in a very interesting quote. You know, when I heard this quote, the song came to mind was Jimmy Cliff that says, "Many rivers to cross." So I know I understand the meaning of this quote.
Yeah. We're really building a number of walls, and the walls, I think, represent the separations in the world.
Yeah.
But we need to bridge the gap and to be more connected with each other. Speaking about connection, let me just give a shout out to Nigel Wilkinson. Happy birthday, my brother. Hope you enjoy your day.
It's belated because we saw it in our group yesterday. So
it was okay, so it was yesterday.
Yeah, so
okay, belatedly. Great.
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
indeed.
The first watch will be back after this break.
Not a problem.
I tell you about short-term motor insurance from JNGI. Short-term. You choose what you need. 30, 60, 90 days policy. No long commitment. Full third party. No park your car. No walk. It's a shorty. So affordable and it's not coronation market. JNGI shorty. Country party. We have a shorty. Just insure your vehicle and start it. Roll out with a shorty. Shorty. The short-term motor insurance from JN General Insurance. Available only online.
The first sound they make is to simply let the world know they're here. And then it's our duty to help them show the world why they're here in the first place.
Give them every advantage with the Guardian Achiever, a plan that provides for their educational dreams and protects their health and life in the process. For more information, call 888-4LIFE to speak to an advisor or visit myguardiangroup.com.
The Pesticides Control Authority, PCA, of the Ministry of Health has been onboarded to the Jamaica Single Window for Trade, JSWIFT. Effective April 11, 2022, the Pesticides Control Authority, PCA, has been facilitating online applications of all import permits for pesticides, herbicides, fumigants, and other related products. Traders and their agents will now be able to make online application to obtain both pre- and approved permits, and also make payment for the PCA PCA import says. Benefits include a single application for multiple items within the same shipment, faster processing, increased convenience, and the ease of doing business. The PCA import permit service now on JSwift.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, the landmark 1973 Roe versus Wade case in the USA may be, according to a recent Politico report, overturned in a few weeks' time. And we are asking this morning, what could and would this mean if this is overturned? Who will be most affected if it is indeed overturned? And how should we react to this possibility? Well, to address these and other related concerns, we have online Reverend Ronnie Thwaites, former MP and Minister of Education and attorney at law, and Father Con Honeygan, rector of the St. Jude's Anglican Church in Stony Hill. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry.
Good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us this morning. All right, let me just ask from the get-go, gentlemen, what is your understanding and or recollection of the Roe versus Wade case in the U.S.? Beginning with you, Reverend Thwaites.
The Supreme Court in the Roe versus Wade case sought to make specific what they said was an implicit right in the American Constitution for the privacy of a woman's decision in respect of carrying the child that she had conceived. There is no explicit reference to abortion rights in the Constitution. And there is a whole school of jurisprudence, which is in the ascendancy now, that is called the originalist school, in that it restricts the interpretation of the Constitution to its actual wording, not to any inferences. And for this reason, the decision that is the basis, one basis, a major basis on which the decision expected in July is likely to be granted. I understand that basis. I think it is short-sighted, a view of the Constitution, though I do not think that having read the judgments of the court in the Roe versus Wade case, that it necessarily had to go that way. Of course, you know that the plaintiff, in that case, since resigned and regretted her decision to abort her child.
Okay, well, Roe is a pseudonym. It's not the name of the person, right?
Yes, no, not the name, but the person the live person, the live mother, did take the action that I spoke of.
Okay, all right. Father Honeygan, what's your recollection?
Well, I agree with Reverend Thwaites that the case was in the United States quite a few years ago. And as you mentioned earlier, the Roe is not the actual name of the mother, it's a pseudonym. And that Wade was I think he was a senator who was the first one to block the action. And so it became that well-known case, Roe versus Wade. But it is definitely a case that has been referenced to very often, and here we are once again with this matter.
Yes, Reverend Thwaites, as far as you are aware, how is it that this overturning has become a possibility in the USA? Because after nearly 50 years, what has been happening for this to become a possibility or even a probability?
The nature of the court, the ideological construct of the Supreme Court of the United States has changed, and the majority of justices are of a particular religious persuasion, I think 6 out of 9 are Roman Catholics, and or of that ideological link, and they are heavily influenced by a shift in Republican politics in the United States, which resists what is called the woke liberality, liberalism, which prizes individual decision-making and freedom as the supreme virtue of human living.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the construct, you say, the ideological construct has changed. Six out of 9 of them are Roman Catholics. I really didn't know that. Father Honeyghan, what are your views? What are your responses, reactions to this possibility?
I want to share that the Anglican Church Archbishop in 2019 made a statement in his synod opening, putting out the position which personally I resonate with, that the act of abortion is not wrong in certain circumstances, that there are circumstances where the development of the fetus can create a significant challenge to the life of the mother, and where that is concerned, in both in the medical field and otherwise, it is an ethical decision to make that the fetus can be aborted in order to save the life of the mother. And also in other circumstances where you recognize the fetus is not developing properly and will come to a point where it will have great difficulty in survival. And once that is established, those are other concerns, other situations where abortion might be warranted. And then finally, if it is that the mother has been raped or abused or any other condition that affects her overall psychological ability and her mental capacity to continue, then this can be considered as well. Outside of those parameters now, where it is used as a means of birth control, we don't agree with that. But definitely there are some cases where it is warranted.
So the overturn, as you understand it, Father Honeyghan, how different is that from that perspective that you just shared?
Well,
if it were to be overturned?
Yes, that's the issue I think is at the heart for some of us, or many of us, that we don't hear that part of the discussion. So I find it, the specifics. I find it, I really find it troubling that we are willing to go and to prosecute and to lock up doctors who have within their own medical field been guided by their systems of moral and ethics to save life in certain and many situations. You're now going to pass a law that's going to put them in prison. I find that very strange. And also to put the mother in prison as well, if it is that the situation warrants that abortion is necessary.
And of course, we need to bear in mind that this is a leaked document from Politico, right?
Right.
It's
correct.
right. It's not a full ruling. But
Right.
Reverend Thwaites, your take on that?
I didn't hear Father Honeyghan's all of his exceptions.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm extremely sensitive to the pain of a person, particularly if they've been violated, find themselves with child without support, or if their own life is in grave danger. I'm deeply sensitive to that, but I have to enunciate the principle. Every abortion involves the taking of another life, and therefore, when you legalize that, you are violating a very precious canon of Christianity, of humanity. It may be wise not to be absolutist in terms of a prohibition, but when one confronts the absolute reality, for example, of partial birth abortion, of late-term abortion. This is monstrous, and it demeans every single life. And I'm under no illusions that changing the law will restrict the taking of life capriciously, anybody's life. This involves far deeper education and deep spiritual awareness, but it is dangerous to play with life, which God, we believe God has given. Women must have choice. The basic choice is the choice with who they sleep with and who they allow themselves to become impregnated by. And men have equal responsibility as women.
Yeah. Okay, we're up on a break, gentlemen. We'll be right back.
They're full of life. You're full of love. They're carefree. You care more. That's why we created Child Protector, a critical illness insurance plan from Sagicor Life. It provides coverage for your child in the event of 15 critical illnesses, hospitalization benefits, life insurance, and investment benefits. So make sure your child can live life to the fullest. Apply for Sagicor Child Protector today.
I'm advice I don't know all the shot and tally. I have a message to everyone. Get vaccinated. Hey, tourism the main driver of the local economy. It provides us with job, save the country. So everybody in the industry, get the job and come follow me. It don't hurt to the dirt. Link the nurse cause the vaccine work. Get vaccinated. Get this is a message from the Ministry of Tourism. Get vaccinated. Just get vaccinated. You're deaf?
Morning, Sister Mary. See me bring you a few things to help you out this week.
Thank you, my love. I don't know how I would have managed without the church family.
No problem, sister. By the way, may I have some good news for you. You hear about the social pension program?
Social what?
Social pension.
No. What that?
Government bring in a new program that provide money for older people like you who don't have no steady income, no pension, and don't benefit from no government program. Them pay it out every 2 months.
You think me we qualify?
You did help to build this country. And now that you're old and you struggle, that make you qualify.
That's true. So what me have to do to get it?
Well, you have to take your documents and apply down at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security office. Then they'd start taking application from in May, and some people will start get the money from middle of July.
Sister Keisha, that sound good. But I don't know if I can manage all that up and down for go apply and then go collect money a month time, you know. Me not so strong again.
Ministry of that covered, Sister Mary. You can appoint an agent to help you with that if you can't manage.
Why, it's good to know that government looking out for we old people. We make a contribution and now we don't have nothing.
The government of Jamaica has introduced a social pension program for elderly Jamaicans who do not live in a government care institution or receive cash grants from any welfare program and who do not receive a pension or NIS benefits. You can't afford to miss out. Visit the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's office in your parish to apply. You must take your birth certificate, a government ID card, your NIS and TRN cards, and your bank account details to facilitate payment of your benefits. Don't have a bank account? Not to worry. We will pay your benefits through a remittance agency. Apply now. For more information, call 876-922-8007 or check the ministry's website at www.mlss.gov.jm. The Social Pension Program, caring for our elderly. A message from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and In this, the first watch, we are listening to reactions to the possible overturning of the Roe versus Wade ruling in the United States. And in so doing, we have online Father Con Honigan, rector of the St. Jude's Anglican Church, Stony Hill, and the Reverend Ronnie Thwaites, former MP and Minister of Education, attorney at law. Before the break, Father Khan, if my memory served me right, and I'm paraphrasing, I believe you said that acts of abortion or the act of abortion is not wrong in certain circumstances.
Correct.
Yeah, right. The part and parcel of this whole Roe versus Wade thing, they've been focusing on 12 weeks. You know that, yeah, right. Is it okay at that stage for abortion to take place in your view?
Yes, and part of the challenge that is in the debate is what point is life is it considered human being or life, and that is where many persons in churches, in the political sphere, in the medical sphere, we're all battling that debate. At what point do you consider it life? But the other challenge too is that at what point do you consider that life more valuable than the life of the mother? That is also part of the debate, because at some points in time it seems as if the potential, well, from my perspective, the development of this human being is considered more valuable than the human being that is the mother. And that becomes, another debate in and of itself.
Who is it who gave his life for the redemption of us all? Who is it who sacrificed his life so that others might live?
Sorry? Could you repeat?
I'm asking, who was it in our tradition who gave his life so that others might live? What example can you take from that, please?
I'm not sure I follow the question. I'm not sure I'm understanding the question.
Well, wow, I'm sorry. I have to. I'm being so vague.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Ron.
Jesus gave his life so that we might live.
Right.
So this equation between mother and child. First of all, medical science has got to the point where that is an absolute minority, a fragment of any case like that. Yes, it was so many years ago when neonatology and was far less advanced. But the issue with abortion is very, very seldom that of the mother will die if she bears a child. In those instances, hard cases make bad law is the maxim. But those who are upholding the right for what they call a right for abortion is a right to kill. It's a right to destroy something that fetus at whatever stage. What is it? A piece of a growth? Some kind of is it some kind of animal in the woman? What is it?
It's a living cell, if that's what you'd like a preferred term. But the
is that human being? Is that human being? Is that human being?
That's the question. That's the question.
Yes.
Is it a human being when it doesn't have organs, that lives on its own and thrives on its own? That's the debate that is raging. And I'm not saying that I have the answer to that debate here this morning, but that's the point I'm making. That many have been arguing, and that's where the contention begins.
Yes. Heartbeat, Father. There's a heartbeat and all of that.
No, the heartbeat and the rest of the organs develop at a certain stage, fully develop at a certain stage.
Before 12 weeks? Is not a human being therefore?
So if the heart is alive but the mind is not, does that constitute a human being?
It's not a human being. Okay. Reverend
I'm not saying it's not. I'm asking a question.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I'd like to answer it by an analogy. If God forbid any of us find ourselves with our heart working, but our mind has gone or isn't functioning, are we dead?
What happens in the hospitals when a human being is considered brain dead and only certain organs are functioning? What happens?
They're absolutely alive.
Is still a human being?
Right,
That's the
right,
question. Is
right,
that person human?
right. But
But may I pray you?
Should we kill that person? Should we kill that person?
It's the opportunity of this discussion if we concentrated on the hard cases.
Well,
what certainly we as Christians trying to be want to concentrate on the value of life, yes, and defend life, yes, and the opportunity now. I chaired a parliamentary committee on this issue 3 years ago, and all those proposing a change in our laws relating to abortion, they never mentioned the child. It was all about the women and their travail and struggle, real and as they are. Look at that. Look what must have gone through that woman who dumped her baby boy on Temple Lane near the Kingston Parish Church over the weekend.
Yes.
Bring the baby.
Unfortunate.
Bring the baby to life. The sisters at Holy Innocents on West Race Course will take any child and raise it. Some of us are adopted parents who have done just that in order to prevent the destruction of life. Surely we must stand for that.
Well, I want to argue. Yes.
Go ahead, Father. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you see, again, I want to say very clearly that I do not come to the table with the answers where that is concerned. But I'm saying to us that is part of the issue at hand. That what you call a child, other persons will say, no, that's not a child. Well, I'm not talking about the full-born baby that was thrown on the street. That is obviously a child. But we're talking about the first few weeks of the formation. And that is what is causing a discrepancy in persons' arguments. And that's all I'm saying.
That is not what the law, the overturn of Roe versus Wade would allow. It will allow abortion on demand.
That's that. I understand
Reverend
that. And that's where my concern is.
Reverend Tate, just for clarification, if the life of the mother is threatened, right? What would you recommend in that case, even before 12 weeks?
I would have to rely on medical science in that regard. An informed judgment as to, based on science, what should take place in that instance. But always, the life of the stronger individual must be willing to be sacrificed for the most vulnerable. Isn't that how Christian ethic?
Right. So are you saying by that if the life of the mother is threatened, right, she should be willing to sacrifice her life for the?
I know many people who have done just that, and I applaud them as saints. I would not make an absolute finite judgment on that. But and I'm insisting that hard cases make bad judgments, make bad law. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. And
if that person became pregnant as a child because of rape, you are saying the same thing, Reverend Tate.
You know, there's so many other ways. First of all, I know so many people who are flourishing individuals now who were conceived by in forced situations or as teenagers. Yes, should their life just be assumed to have been dispensable? That's one. Secondly, what about more effective contraception? Two, what about the morning after pill? All of these things are now available in ways that prevent us having to make those hard decisions. If we're talking about abortion in the context of rape and incest, it seems to me that it's a particular case. Yes, but that's a fragment, and in my view, a distracting fragment from the broader issue of the contempt of life and the elevation of convenience and self-obsession that dominates this argument, and which really is the issue.
Father Honeygan, a distracting fragment.
Dr. Toussaint, I like your question because you see what is reality. You know, it's good to hold the standard that we'd want to achieve, but we also have to bear in mind what is reality. In Jamaica, I want to come down to Jamaica now. We have a very high rate of sexual abuse cases of minors. we have a lot of women in our culture who have been forced into sexual relationships. Up to yesterday, a woman came to me and told me how her aunt and mother and grandmother forced her into a sexual relationship with a man so that she could climb the ladder of society, right? And she stood up against it and was ostracized by the family. We live in a society where rape and all these other things are pretty high. You can go on the World Bank website and see all those rates. And where that is the issue, friends, you will find that there are lots of young girls who are frightened by what has happened to them and not quite sure what to do. And in cases like those, now we have to face reality and ask the question, how do we help these vulnerable persons go through this experience as well? No, we could put up, and I do agree, I would champion all churches to have more children's homes. But I'm here to tell you that even that won't solve the problem in and of itself, because there are other issues that spin off from all those abusive situations.
Time is up on us, gentlemen. It's a mixed bag. But thank you so very much for your thoughts and for your time. I guess the debate will continue for centuries, should the Lord tarry. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed day.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Apply today for DBJ Recovery Line of Credit or Go Digital Loan to help you find a way. The time by J&B Bank Small Business Loans is now 7:31. Right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. We'll be right back inside the Morning Watch.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Enough respect, civil servants and healthcare workers. We appreciate you. So it's on us. Gas, shopping, dinner, entertainment, it's on us. For the month of May, spend just $1,000 before GCT at any H&L Rapid True Value or H&L Agro Store island-wide, or shop online at hardribbonlumber.com and you could win one of these 60 prizes from gas vouchers, dinner at District 5, Reggae Sumfest tickets, and more. See details online. Enough respect, civil servants. It's on us. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
Knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of global crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today. 876-220-6474. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church.
This is a reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
He knows my name.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, let's look at newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Gleaner, BSJ offers expertise to ensure compliance with National Building Code. Also, government to remove trans fats from local foods. In the Immigration Corner, it can take up to 14 years to file for siblings. 14 years. In the Observer, Woman leads cops on chase, damages police vehicle. And also painful. Children struggling to restart their lives after getting pregnant. Yeah. And then Moortown Challenger and mom will be invited to Maroon Council meeting. Those are some of the major headlines and stories in our newspapers. Coming up next, we read some of the feedback from our social media question. What is your reaction to the possible overturning of the Roe versus Wade ruling in the US? Please leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
This psalm carries only 5 verses, but it packs a mighty punch. It's Psalm 100. It's an exhortation of praise. What does Psalm 100 mean, and what does it mean to you? What lessons and insights can you learn from this psalm? Tuesday, May 10 on The Rock, join host Bishop Hero Steve Blair and guests Dion Lindo Witter, Pastor Luke Smith, and Pastor Courtney Morrison as they discuss the topic Psalm 100. That's The Rock, Tuesday, May 10 at 10 a.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Roshane for a look at how our Facebook and YouTube WhatsApp friends answer today's question. What is your reaction to the possible overturning of the Roe versus Wade ruling in the US? Roshane?
All right. I'm seeing a WhatsApp message here. Let me see if I can play this one first.
Good morning, panel. I believe a life is a life. God is there from the conception, and God knows the future. You know what will happen to how that child is going to be born, right? Even if the mother is going to die. Remember Rachel? After Benjamin born, Rachel died. So you want to tell me that God didn't know that Rachel was going to die? A life is a life.
All right. Very interesting comment there. I'm also seeing a few comments from Sean Major Campbell. It's better to have legal and safe opportunities for abortion rather than backdoor illegal, even fatal situations. He also added that safe legal environment facilitates professional advice from different disciplines. This helps the woman to make her own informed decision and choice. And finally, he said, the time has come for us to move beyond political categories of pro-choice and pro-life and become pro-humanity, compassion, reason, bodily anatomy, and the sexual and reproductive health rights of women. So those are the comments. Those are a few comments from Sean Major Campbell. And we turn things over to you, Dr. Toussaint.
All right, interesting comments there from those who responded. Want to thank them for responding to the question. As we now segue into the second watch, today, May 10, is World Lupus Day. What do we know about this disease? How common is it in Jamaica? How dangerous is it? What can and should be done to those who have this disease? Well, to help us answer these and other related questions, we have joining us in the second watch, Dr. Sandra McLeod, consultant dermatologist and head of dermatology services at Kingston Regional Hospital and the National Chest Hospital, as well as Ms. Yannick Sanko Valentine, lupus warrior. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Toussaint.
Good to have you.
Can you hear me well?
Good. Hearing you well, Dr. McLeod.
Very well.
And Miss Valentine, Sanko Valentine. You are muted, so not sure she's hearing us. And she's gone for the time being. Okay. All right. You're with us still, Dr. McLeod.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, right. We hope to be joined by Miss Valentine pretty soon. All right, Dr. McLeod, I have oftentimes heard that lupus is a long-term autoimmune disease. What does that really mean? And is there a cure?
Okay, so yes, you're correct. Lupus is long-term, it is autoimmune. Auto means self, as in of yourself. And immune, we know our immune system. We all know we need a good immune system, protect us from infections, etc. That's what our immune system is supposed to be, to serve and protect. Now, sometimes our immune system goes rogue on us and starts to attack our very selves, hence the word autoimmune. So you're attacking yourself rather than foreign material. So when that system, when that is happening, when we're beginning to attack our own selves, our own body organs, then damage is done to various organs. And yes, lupus is a long-term disease. It affects many organs, most organs, the brains, the eyes, the lungs, the heart, the skin, the kidneys, the gastrointestinal tract, the musculoskeletal system, the joints and muscles. So it is very all-encompassing. There are many things to be done, though. It is a very serious condition. It can range from mild to very severe, and we have heard of cases of people passing from lupus. But yes, the answer is to get quickly diagnosed, get managed, and so we can control the condition.
So is there a cure, Dr. McLeod?
No, not yet. No, not a cure. Sometimes patients go into what we call remission, so the disease quiets down, and that may last for a long time, but no, not really a cure for lupus as yet.
And are there persons who are more vulnerable to this disease, more susceptible?
I'm glad you raised that question. Now, lupus is predominantly found in women. Men have it, but it's 9 women to 1 man. That's the ratio. Now, not only that, it's 3 times more common in Black women. And in Jamaica, studies have shown from back in 1979 that up to 1 in every 250 Jamaican women have lupus. So we have a triple situation here. We have a significant issue that needs to be addressed, that needs to become more visible. Hence our theme today, lupus level up. We want to step up and make lupus visible because it is often unrecognized and patients present late when damage has been done. Patients present to various people, the rheumatologist, the dermatologist, the kidney doctors. And the difficulty about lupus is that patients may present insidiously. You have an achy joint, or you feel tired today, you think you have the flu, you think you're overworking, and sometimes it takes a while for the penny to drop. But it is something that we really need to become more aware of as a nation and for our physicians.
Thank you. Let me bring in, is it Mrs. Sanko Valentine? I want to make sure.
Yes, sir, it is. Good morning,
Right,
Dr.
right. Yes. Welcome to you. Thanks for joining us, and commendations and kudos to you as you continue to fight against this disease. I'm seeing here lupus warrior. Is that your personal designation?
Yes, I would
What-
say.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
All right, because this illness is one that is not visible to others. It is a fight that you do on your own. And as Dr. McLeod would have said, that it affects each person differently. So as a lupus patient now, I was diagnosed with lupus nephritis. So the lupus affected my kidneys.
Wow.
So, yes. So
How long ago was that? How long ago was that?
20 so my diagnosis, I was first diagnosed in 2017, and I got pregnant in 2018. And during my pregnancy, the kidneys would have been affected by the lupus.
And your journey so far, tell us about that.
It has been a challenging one because I have to be constantly monitored to ensure that the kidney function is at a certain level and it does not deteriorate. Because once the kidney function deteriorates, then eventually you would need dialysis.
Okay, so you have never had to go on dialysis?
No, no.
Right. And what has it done to you, mentally, emotionally, physically?
All right. So mentally, you have to be strong, and it is good for you to have support, family support, friends, co-workers, because there are days when you might wake up and your body is so weak.
Tell you what, I'm so sorry, Mrs. Sanko Valentine. We're up on a break. Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Sure.
Okay.
Fabulous discounts. Visit ccrponline.org today or call 469-1944 and live life to the fullest. The time by CCRP is...
It is now 7:45. This is Love 101.
They're full of life. You're full of love. They're carefree. You care more. That's why we created Child Protector, a critical illness insurance plan from Sagicor Life. It provides coverage for your child in the event of 15 critical illnesses, hospitalization benefits, life insurance, and investment benefits. So make sure your child can live life to the fullest. Apply for Sagicor Child Protector today.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in the second watch, we are looking at a very, very serious topic, lupus. Today is World Lupus Day, and we have online Dr. Sandra McLeod, consultant dermatologist, head of the dermatology services at the Kingston Regional Hospitals, and also Mrs. Yannick Saniko Valentine, a lupus warrior. Welcome again to you, ladies.
Thank you.
Right. Before the break, Mrs. Sanko Valentine, you were telling us about your journey and how it has affected you mentally, emotionally, physically. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm saying mentally one has to be strong, because there are days when you might feel very discouraged, because you might wake up this morning and your body is so weak and you feel like you cannot get up or you can't do anything. There are days when I am washing and I just have to go and lay down because my body just give way, because it's so weak. So I just have to go and lay down, especially if you are, what I find for me personally, when I am overworked, then my body just shuts down. So I have to monitor the amount of work that I would do and the amount of stress that I put on my body. So it is necessary to have that family support around you, so that the days when you are down, or even if you're not down, but somebody's there to help you to do especially chores around the house. Yes. So you find that it's good when you have that family support, and you have to be mentally strong to deal with the different issues that comes with this illness. Because sometimes you're there and you might start to get a flare, because the sun causes flares sometimes.
The sun?
Yes.
Oh,
So you have to be so everybody is triggered differently.
yes.
So you have
Yes.
to know your body and you have to know what cause your triggers. Some food can cause triggers as well.
Wow.
So you really have to know your body.
So are you on medication?
Yes, I am.
And tell us about that per day, if you
Oh
don't
my
mind.
word. Medicate no, listen, I'm heavily medicated because I have to be on steroids because we have to ensure that the kidneys are not affected any worse. So I am on steroids each day. I take 15 mg. I take hydrochloroquine. That is a medication that is for lupus patients. It helps to reduce lupus flares. And because of that, now I also take mycophenolate, which is a medication that suppresses the immune system to avoid flares as well.
And these are costly medications, I am assuming.
Yes, they are. But as a for me, thank God, I am on the hospital program. So the NHF covers these medications for me.
Yeah. Dr. McLeod, you had mentioned earlier about females, women being more vulnerable. I'm intrigued by that, saddened as well. But what any research has explained this? Why is it in that gender more than the other?
That is as yet inexplicable, but we do know that women are more affected. As Mrs. Valentine has so aptly put it, we know there are triggers, the sun, triggers, stress, pregnancy, etc. The other thing to say is that lupus affects people in the prime of their life. It could be any age, so there are children, babies with lupus. But for the most part, somewhere around 15 to 45 with an average of 22 years. So you're talking at a very prime time of life to be struck down by this illness. And because sometimes it takes so long to actually get the diagnosis, time is passing and people are getting more ill. Why women? Only the Lord knows at this time. I'm sure it has something to do with a combination of genetics as well as exposures in life. So there are many theories, but no, we do not have an exact reason. But we do know whatever triggers this autoimmune flare, the starting of the attacking of your system, then the process continues by attacking various organs. So whatever it is, just like how we sometimes do not know what causes a cell to become a cancerous cell, what causes this cell to now behave towards its own body in an attacking mode? What is that? There are a lot of inflammatory markers, there are a lot of antibodies. So we know what is happening. The why of it is still
out there. Yeah. How widespread is it anecdotally in Jamaica, would you say?
Our figures are not recent. As I expressed, the 1 in 250 women data was from 1979. I do not think we have too many more recent figures, but I suspect it is a lot more. We also have patients who present to different people at different times. So they may come to the dermatologist with skin lesions. Those are visible. And oftentimes that is how the diagnosis is made. And then we may refer to other specialties depending on what we find, because that is the thing about lupus. Make the diagnosis. We want our physicians to think about it, to test for it, to treat, or most times transfer, because a lot of patients need multi-specialty management. Dermatologist, the kidney doctor, the eye doctor, the rheumatologist, the neurologist, etc., physiotherapy, and teach others and themselves about lupus. So we just need to increase the awareness until we can get to that place where we identify the cause, identify as a cure. So that is still in the works. And yes, there's experimentation going on, but we are not there yet. So at this point, it is more about diagnosing, managing early. We think the sun does have a big role to play, as Mrs. Valentine say. And
so they should stay out of the sun? Is it that?
Yes,
they should stay away
as
from
much
the
as
sun?
they can, and we advise the use of sunscreen application,
But vitamin
application,
D? The vitamin D and all of that.
vitamin D or E.
Right. D.
Which
Well,
D?
the sun is what? The sun gives us
Vitamin
what?
D is the sun,
Right,
and yes,
right.
you need vitamin D, but there are some rashes, and lupus is one where you get a photosensitivity, meaning that the sun triggers your rashes and causes flares of the other parts of your disease. And so we advise that patients wear a sunscreen. Your sunscreen should be applied throughout the day. You need a sunscreen with an SPF. SPF stands for sun protection factor, and every sunscreen bottle that you take up will have a number on it, an SPF number. So it may be 15, it may be 30, it may be 50. So 15 and above, 30, and you wear that throughout the day. Yes, avoid sun, use your umbrellas, your hats, wear clothing, and there are articles about how to cover oneself to avoid exposure. Mrs. Valentine talks about overexertion. So it's a combination of things. You get overexposed, you get tired, you get too much sun, you worked a bit too much, you caught a flu, and before you know it, because all of these things also can trigger the immune system. And then as they flare, your lupus flares.
Wow.
So I know I didn't answer your question.
Wow.
That's
No,
because
you-
I don't have an answer.
Yes,
And so
yes. And you-
I'm talking around the topic.
That's
but,
all right. You answered some other questions
Many
I
of
would
the
have asked.
answers are not there. But what we want really, and this is why I'm sure Yannick is in our t-shirts. So pull yourself up a little. Oh, I'm in my t-shirt.
Oh,
It says,
well, she's in purple.
Lupus level up. Make lupus visible. This is our
Yes.
theme today,
Yes.
and that is what we want to do, because
Yes.
so many of our patients, our population, even our physicians, are so unaware, and this is something that is just out there. So today is World Lupus Day. We are starting with a walk, a short walk from 7 Barbados Avenue to Emancipation Park, where they will have a free health fair. So everybody can come down, talk to the specialists, hear more about lupus. If you have relatives affected or you think so, it's something for us to all learn about. There are other sites, St. Anne, St. James, where they're doing the walk for lupus, strides for lupus, we call it. So all that is happening today, and it's something that we need to keep on the front burner because our women are so affected, our men too. Now, I must say, as a dermatologist, we see a lot of skin lupus. So lupus can affect the skin in very many ways. There's a type of lupus that affects only the skin. It's called discoid lupus. Discoid because they tend to be coin-shaped. But this is particularly damaging to the skin. A lot of scarring, you lose your hair. It is so psychologically.
Tell you what though, Doc, I really want, we have 1 minute and I really
Well,
minute and a half.
let's talk to
Yes, I want Mrs. Sanko Valentine to have the final word. What would you say therefore to the listening and viewing audience?
All right. So I would say that persons need to research more about the lupus, because you find that lupus mimics other illnesses. So sometimes you may think that this is happening to you, but this is not really the cause of it. It's lupus, because when I was first diagnosed, I started having joint pains, and the joint pains kept moving from one joint to another. And the doctor was saying that it could be non-specific arthritis. And I'm saying no. So I believe that one should know their body, And once you know your body and see changes in it, then you go to the doctor and don't stop until you find whatever is causing that problem.
Okay, well said. Well, thank you both
Can I
for
just
joining
tell
us,
you the
ladies.
helpline number for the Lupus Foundation?
Quickly.
Right.
Yes, go
So
ahead.
it's 876-778-3892. Lupus Foundation. You can reach out to them. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and all the best with the activities of today, and
Thank
also the commitments and the ministry that you have and the service that you give to the nation throughout the rest of the year and beyond. All the best to you, Mrs. Sanko Valentine, as you continue to be a lupus warrior.
Lupus warrior.
All right. Bless you. Bless you, ladies. Thanks for joining
Thank you. Have a good.
Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information or get copies of this program, please call our production department at 876-968-95967. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Miss Kathy Gale, and our guests. I'm Dylan Toussaint, giving a shout out to the pastor and members of the Morant Bay Baptist Circuit of Churches. As I hand you back to Love in the Morning with Rasheen Douglas.
Thank you, Dr. Toussaint. Have a wonderful day now, my brother.
You too, sir.
NHF beneficiaries enrolled for diabetes can get a glucometer with the use of their NHF card. Apply online at nhf.org.jm. The time by the NHF is...
It is now 8:01 time.